Welcome to my humble little office. My name is JThe Andrews. I am a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on January 24th, 2024 at approximately 4:30 p.m. PST. Now, I've returned to this world for one primary purpose, and that is to remind people that working together, we can make this a better world for everybody. Now, I bill myself as a spiritual guide, because the tools I offer are the exact same tools I personally utilize in my own day-to-day life. And the philosophies of life I talk about are the precise philosophies that I personally guide my life by. Now, I know these tools will work because they work for me, and much more importantly, they have literally worked for thousands of other people, depending on their own personal efforts. Now, as we discussed yesterday, we have started to unify things. Therefore, we did finally come up with a name for the. In all fairness, let's give credit to LA Moon, because today on Positive Perceptions, we are going to be talking about literally the creative practicality of finances around the world. Now, this literally means that no matter what income bracket you are in, whether you're running a corporation, a household, whether you're barely making ends meet and are living in shared accommodation, finances don't care. We start off with Shadow and Sun coming in with the gold. And Shadow, what was it now? Eve, I gotta take a look at something here. Let's see here. Oh, up there. No, it was in Facebook, was it not? I'm just looking for something that was dropped in my lap just today. Whoop. Okay, I'm not seeing it. That's beside the point. At this point, it really doesn't matter. But where is the other thing I do require? Because it does matter. This is the link to Shadow and Sun's live stream. So absolutely drop in, give him a listen. If you like what he has to say, do give him a thumbs up, and then subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of the thing. Now, with the silver, we have LA Moon. And then Steve Knox, you have come in with the bronze. And then we have Storm and Shadow, it looks like. Let me just double check. We go to there, and we have Storm and Shadow in with honorable mention. Now, Steve, I trust things are going well. Now, where are we? Lost this again. Sooner or later, I'll get somewhat organized. Oh, and of course, I've got to close out. Well, that's quite normal. This is the link to Storm and Shadow's live stream. Okay, so again, drop in, give him a listen. If you like what he has to say, do give him a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel, and then share the daylights out of the thing. Okay, it is literally, this effort of sharing that is going to turn this world around. In case you haven't noticed, some things take a little while longer to change than others. But when we look at finances, if you're going to reclaim power over your own life, let's understand the basic fundamentals of the financial world. People keep telling me, a lot of people have told me, money is the root of all evil. Well, let me put it this way. Money is a barter system. And in case you had noticed, whether or not you're feeling good, whether you're feeling on top of the world or you're sicker than a dog, $1 still buys $1's worth of stuff. The money doesn't care how you're feeling. It's still going to react the same way. You put money in the bank, Okay. Money will sit there. It will earn the same interest rate, whether you're feeling great, whether whether you're fighting with a hangover, whether you're sitting there feeling like you've just been run over, and maybe you were. Now, there's a dark thought. But money itself, you got to understand, in my opinion, is real simple. Moving a dollar bill around is a lot easier than moving a cow. And besides that, if you don't feed the dollar bill, the thing will stay there. It won't die on you. The cow and the chicken, that's another issue. By the way, the other discrepancy there is, let's assume you don't have enough money to feed your dollar bill. Okay, it won't die. Of course, if you don't have enough money to feed the cow, it'll die, but you'll be able to eat the cow. I don't recommend eating a dollar bill. Granted, paper will digest nicely, but the basic principle of money is simple. You desire to make money work. You desire to grow a bigger bank account. And like I said, this does not matter how much you're working with. Okay, money works the same for everybody. Now, let's look at the reality behind it. If you have $10 in your pocket and you do nothing with it, you just hold on to it with everything you've got, that $10 will stay as $10. Okay, if you take that $10 and you put it in the bank, they're doing you such a wonderful favor. They really are. You're going to make a small percentage. I looked into it with some of the bankers I know. Okay, they're paying you, let's say you got a real sweet deal and you're making 6%. If they're giving you 6%, you can bet your bottom dollar they're making 15 to 20. Now, I don't begrudge them the 15 to 20. They know what they're investing in. They know the way that works. No problem. Take a look at that money and go, okay, if you're making X number of dollars, okay, if you're making X percentage, whether you've got $10, and let's just round it up to 10%. If you've got $10 to invest, you're going to come back at the end of that investment period with $11, as in 1 or 10% more. $1 is 10% of $10. If you've got $100 and you invested at 10%, at the end of the investment period, you've now made $10. Now, I'm not going to go into all the mathematics, okay? Because honestly, much as I understand them and just never implemented them, okay, I work with very basic concepts. If you're making 12% interest, you're making 1% interest per month. Okay, if you break it down over a year, but that's only the beginning. Okay, so you're going to have to take a course in mathematics or in financial math in order to figure that out. But whether we are talking about running your household, running a business, or running a corporation, the household still must be run like a business. Okay, in simplest terms, you have X number of dollars coming in. Now, people talk about a balanced budget. You've got to run a balanced budget. Let's look at the reality, at least from my perspective, of a balanced budget. Okay, a budget says X dollars comes in, and therefore you break it up. So if you've got $100 coming in, you got five utility bills that have to be paid. Okay, and you're breaking it up evenly. You've got $100 for each bill. Now, it's a lot more complicated than that in a lot of ways. But for purposes of simple discussion, okay, if you've got $500, you got $100 per bill you can spend. If you've got $1,000, you now have $200 per bill that can be spent. But the real kicker is this. Okay, there are ways of looking at finances. And I am in the process, as a matter of fact, you think about it. Matter of fact, I don't even have to think about it anymore. that neat little book. As you can see, believe in your finances and follow your dreams. This holds the backbone. Now, I've got another one that I've started working on. Actually, I already wrote it. I have to just reorganize it and reprint the thing. But, and again, any of the books that I do show here are available directly through me. Okay. Now, I look at this, and this would be the email to get a hold of me through. Okay. This particular email is exactly how you get a hold of me. If you're trying to ask a question I haven't answered, drop me a line there. There's any number of ways listed below this video that you can get a hold of me. Okay. But with that in mind, okay, what we have to realize is, are you content with where your finances are? If not, there are ways to change it that do not require going into debt to do it. Okay. Now, the reality is there's lots of people that will tell you, oh, for X number of dollars, I'll handle your money for you. Okay, there's no old saying. You give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. You teach a man to fish, you feed him for life. Okay. Of course, if you teach a man to fish, you don't have the option. No, we won't go there. That was going to be a real dark thought. Okay, bear in mind, being a science fiction, science fantasy writer, depending on who you talk to, okay, I can come up with, and a gamer, I can come up with some pretty, shall we say, dark ideas. Now, I am in the process. I just started working on a book that I was asked to co-author. Okay. While I'm writing it, we finally cleared up a few things, and that can get all kinds of sideways. Again, when we take a look at it, okay, when we take a look at your finances, understand one basic principle. And this does not change for anybody, no matter who you are. If you desire your bank account, your mattress stuffings, your cash sitting in your cash box, if you desire any of it to grow, spend less money than you're earning. Spend less money than you're bringing in. It's that simple. Okay. If you desire to burn cash off, I got two ways for you. Spend more than you're bringing in, or give it to me. And rest assured, I have never turned down money. I've never turned down money without strings attached. I remember years ago, a guy asked me, he wanted me to pass on a message. He goes, if I give you $1,000, will you take this message to this person? I looked at him and I said, well, I'll take the $1,000. Now, bear in mind, the message he wanted me to hand off was a bald-faced lie. I said, I'll take the $1,000. Sadly, he was thinking, and he goes, what about passing on the message? I said, I'm not lying to anybody for you. He says, then why would I give you $1,000? I said, because you're nice. Somehow I didn't get the $1,000. I just don't get it. I was quite willing to take it. But if you desire to get your finances working correctly meaning your ability to live is covered. Where do we start? Well, you start with where you are. Take the whole concept that people keep trying to figure out. How did you get in the mess you're in? Okay. Because I'm laying odds there are very few of you that are listening to this that are actually way above board as far as what you owe. Like, as in, above board boils down to this. Are you 100% debt-free? You don't owe the banks. You don't owe anybody. You'll still have to pay taxes. Sorry. But you're up to date on your taxes. You don't owe the banks for anything. You're not paying on your car or your vehicles. You got no private loans. You got no credit card debt. This doesn't mean you don't have credit cards. Okay. Hopefully there's somebody in the listening audience that is in that shape. Myself, I am not. Okay. However, this does not mean I am in bad shape. I still own my car. My apartment I'll never own. Okay. And for those of you that have paid your house off, bad news. If you're still paying taxes, okay, the thing is not yours. Okay, I believe in Canadian law anyway. I believe it boils down to this. You basically lease the property for 100 years. Okay, but needless to say, you don't pay the taxes, it ain't going to be yours for very long. Now, of course, there's this other little question that we will get to in a little while. When do you know it's time to expand your business? You've already got a small business up and running. When do you know it's time to expand it? Okay, and understand something very critical. Expand, when we're talking a business, if you run a household, it is still your business. Okay, you still have to pay the rent. You've got to pay your utilities. You've got to pay any debts you owe. You've got to cover inventory, and depending on the business, you've got to cover food. Okay, most businesses means you have to go out for lunch if you don't actually own a restaurant, or you're eating some of your product. It's still an expense. Same thing applies when you're running a household. You've got all the same bills. And money can, because it doesn't care one way or the other, okay, will react the same way for you, whether you've got $1 billion or 10. It doesn't matter. You can be living on the street. Yes, still, where money will still work the same way. You'll notice somebody hands you a $10 bill. The $10 bill is not going to get excited. It's not going to get all happy and give you a hug or anything. Okay, now, you receiving the $10, depending on your state, may be very happy about it. So when we start looking at how to make this work, okay, first and foremost, you gotta know where you're standing. This means take the time to literally, okay, and I work with these all the time, okay, this being a sheet of paper to keep a list on to make sure I get things done. Did something else here today. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Whoops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 11 things already done today. I've got 4 more on my list. Okay, 3 more. Sorry, we are doing this one right now. Okay, now I must once again, and yes, I know I've done this before. What do we got? Woo Train, how we doing? Well, I can only functionally speak for me there, Woo. I'm doing well enough. Okay, managed to get a fair chunk accomplished, and got the book that I'm now co-authoring with a friend of mine. Okay, I got the first scene. The first scene is now written. It's going to be a drawn-out process because of the fact I've got to write it, go over it with, and make sure we get it right from the get-go, and then start expanding. Okay, I cannot thank the moderators enough for really taking the stress out of this task for me. Okay, I really can't. You guys are doing a bang-up job, and those of you that are in the chat room, okay, or just listening in, okay, again, and I put this up. I'm gonna put it up again anyway. Where are we? Oh, I got it. I know where it is. Memory's working well, just not necessarily the greatest. Okay, again, if you're looking for the newsletter, because it'll be coming out in the next day or two, I just tied it off today. So I will be starting to send out February's in the next day or two. A few of you have asked to get the newsletter. You guys have already gotten January's, the ones of you that just applied. And I'm happy to report we are now at subscription level, like here in the live stream. Let's get that out of the way. In the live stream, we have 594. The newsletter, okay, Positive Perspectives, has now got 53 subscriptions. Okay, tiny little distribution, absolutely. Okay, but yesterday morning, there was only 49. Oh, okay, Steve, I appreciate that. Putting it on here, yeah, making note, make sure that they're off. As a matter of fact, let's see if I can do that without getting hung up. Where are we? Let's see if I can actually do that without hanging up on you guys. Go compose there. Oh, did we miss something very important here? There we are. Okay. Now, according to this, where is that? That is, oh, that's why. Okay, well, we pop that in here. Okay. Oh, that's right. You sent me that letter. So what we do is this. We go reply. We go and I am literally just popping it up right now. And yes, I know this is cutting into things. Well, welcome to my world. And January. Steve, if you'd be so kind as to check your email when you get a chance, it is now on its way. That's right. I remember you giving me giving me an email the other day, and you mentioned the fact that I don't want that. You mentioned the fact that it didn't. Yeah. What we got here? No, I know I don't have to do it now, but I did it that way because that way I know it's been dealt with. One thing you will find, and this is extremely applicable to handling your finances, procrastination does not get you anywhere in life. You know, it's a great way to postpone things. But no, I remember you mentioning it. So do let me know if it arrived. It should have. But where it comes to oh, perfect. Thanks for the confirmation there, Steve. Now you're in the list. It ain't going to be that hard. Now, something you got to realize with me. Yes, I've got these newsletters going out, but the reality is I only send them by request. Okay, and then I do it the old-fashioned manual way, as in one at a time. I know there's ways to modify. I know there are ways to okay, we'll try English. I know there are ways to automate. Frankly, I'm still much happier doing things in a manual fashion, which is why I am currently going back through my Wombox word of mouth advertising records. Okay, and that is done in a physical fashion. Not that one. That's fine. This is why I know for an absolute fact, no computer programmer can hack my database. Yes, people can hack my email. Absolutely they can. But my database, you can't grab it all in one shot because there it is. Yeah, I haven't looked at Legacy Peak. I just watched one the other day. Now you've heard me mention this friend of mine that's in the MMA. Okay, this sweet Maria. Now I watched a show on Netflix today called 60 Minutes. Okay, and yeah, it's about an MMA fighter. And I will tell you, that definitely, from my standpoint, was well worth the watch. Very high paced, very high action. Money doesn't care how you're feeling, how much energy you've got. It doesn't care. It's just that simple. As the saying goes, it just doesn't matter. And it really doesn't. Something you have to realize where it comes to finances, though. If you postpone paying your bills, they will add up. Whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent doesn't matter. Now, there are a lot of really good books out there to handle, to tell you how to handle your money and how to make it work if you've got $40,000 to $50,000 of spare cash. Okay. And they give out these incredible books. Okay. Absolutely phenomenal books that flaming thick. Okay. And they go, give me $50, pay me 50, 60 bucks and read through this whole book. Now, the nice part about it, that really small, real simple. It is being, I am looking at adding to it and getting pictures and what have you done with it, i.e. graphs. But it's designed so if you've only got a couple of dollars, you can work with it. Okay. The important factor is this. To start with the handling of your finances, the first thing you have to do is get a list together. Okay. Get a list together of how, of what you owe. Now, in answer to that neat little question, I am going to be putting a workshop together. I just need to figure out how to set it up. I can teach it one-on-one or locally without a problem. I do not know how yet to set up a Zoom meeting or a multi-meeting with, StreamYard or whatever. I don't have that knowledge. So I have to do it the slow way for the moment. But that book, okay, I am working out how much time it's going to take. I'm thinking we're probably looking at a 2 or 3 hour course to ensure that you know how to handle it. Now, the course itself will be, it will cost money. There's no question there. The book, doesn't matter how many you buy. Okay. I sell them, simply put, at 20 bucks a pop. If you've got $20, we sell it at 20 bucks. If you've got it so you can buy one. If you've got 100 bucks, that means you're able to buy 5. It doesn't mean that you get a discount for it, because I don't deal with discounts based on volume. I look at it going, no, that's what that does. When you look at discounts based on volume, what you're actually telling people is the person that's got more money is more important to them than you are. Nobody is more important to me than other people, except top of the line, both my boys rank above everybody, and my other half ranks above everybody but my boys. Okay, and that's just the way it is. Thank you so much for that, LA. This is one of those courses I've got. The 3 courses, these books are small enough. All 3 of these. Believe in your finances and follow your dreams. Believe in yourself and follow your dreams. and believe in your business and follow your dreams. Now, something to understand with every one of these. Yes, the books themselves are $20, with or without it. But when I put the course together, everybody that takes the course will get a copy of this. Okay. And before somebody comes up with any brilliant idea, no, you don't get them for a discount if you're taking the course. They get included in the course. And for those of you that are looking, and this is going to sound like an absolute blatant marketing thing, let me clear it up. It is. Anybody that decides that they're aiming, I'm working out a contract where anybody that decides they want to take these books and pick up some and sell them and make a little bit of extra profit, there is a whole way that works. Okay. And if you're interested, absolutely drop me a line. I am going to be laying it out in simple terms. Okay. To make it very clear cut so that, number one, it's not a question, in all fairness. It won't make a lot of money. I'll tell you that right now. You're not going to become a millionaire unless you do one sheep load of work and you can bet your bottom dollar. Okay. And I know this is the way money works. You can bet your bottom dollar. If I'm doing this and you can make money, you can bet your bottom dollar I'm going to make money. Now, I'm on because the reality is you desire to create a financial world that you're comfortable in. The first thing we do is identify where your finances are. Okay. By the way, when I'm talking about a course, I don't mean I'll sit here and go, oh, here's how you do it. Okay. It will be a question of here's what needs to be done. Now do it. It's not complicated. I mean, let's face it. Let's stick to the financial one. This believe in your finances and follow your dreams. Okay. Where are we here? Turn it to the last page. It's huge. Okay, this is just an absolutely mind-boggling, huge book. Now, I know many of you aren't heavy-duty readers. This particular book, 14 pages. You think you can read that again if you have to? Okay. When you look at it, the first thing you've got to do is assess, and this doesn't matter if you're running a household or a corporation, figure out what you owe. You know, figure out what your bill is, what you require to run your business, to run your household. This literally means write down your rent. It is. Maybe you got more than one. Okay. Take a look at it. Ask yourself this. Okay. What is it that I have to pay to keep a roof over my head? What are my utilities? Power, water, garbage, your phone, your cell phone, all of the utilities. Whoops. Oh, well, that's no fun. I don't know when that happened. Okay, now I have no idea where that kicked out there in LA. But this is why but you list off everything you owe. Your cost of food and, your food, your insurance, and absolutely there's got to be a little money there for entertainment. Many people may tell you, no, you got to cut back. You got to cut back. You got to cut back. I'm telling you, this doesn't work. Okay. What works better is find a way to increase your financial flow. Okay. Now I've got to turn things around where I can actually make it make sense in an easy fashion. Okay. Without trying to explain the entire marketing array that I've got. Oh, look at that. We lost everybody. Okay. Oh, we got people coming back in. What stream? What did YouTube do? Kick everybody out? Where it comes to finances, you got to realize money does not care how you're feeling. Thank you very much there, LA. So we will pause for a minute until we get a few people back in here. But I am going to, I'm putting it all on paper. I've literally started writing it out now to build the workshops. That way, to build the workshops, and I came up with a way of making certain that the books will move and everybody gets ahead. Well, everybody that does something with it. Matter of fact, I'm wondering how many will fit. See, in Canada, we've got something called a flat rate shipping. Yeah, LA's just going, for those of you that are just listening, LA, one of our moderators is going, chat people, reset your stream and play okay. Okay. The reason for that is we lost a lot of people. I don't know how much was missed. I wasn't actually paying attention. Well, of course, I don't know it's kind of that it's dropping offline. And if I don't keep an eye on, wonder if I can leave that running low. Yeah, that's probably going to create an epic or create an echo. Yep. There we go. We'll ignore that. Now, I have figured out something very important from my end. From your end, you desire your finances to turn around. You're going to have to probably get a little creative compared to what you've been doing. Because if you're having trouble right now, we can just blanket look at it and go, clearly, okay, if you're having trouble right now, clearly you're missing some key factors. Now, in spite of not having an income for the last year, or perhaps because of it, I discovered a few things. Okay, you desire your business to grow. It's not a question of it's going to cost you a lot of money, or you desire your bank to grow. It's a question of knowing how to make it happen. Now, I'm not going to tell you how to become a millionaire right now. I can tell you how to improve your finances. Okay, I absolutely can. And just to give you an idea of qualifications, twice bankrupt, once by creative financing. Okay, I managed, when the first time I went bankrupt, I managed to to spend $2,000 on a $1,000 limit credit line. Okay, before it folded. Okay, that was the first time. The second time, my boss bounced a paycheck, and neither my boss nor my bank told me about it until it was too late. So, have I been down that road? Absolutely. I went the route of talking to bankruptcy trustees as directed by my parents. Best intentions, I'm sure of it. Okay, professional bankruptcy trustee told me the first time to go bankrupt on a $6,000 debt. The second time was on a $14,000 debt. Okay, right now I'm close to $50,000 in debt, and very close to I've figured out a formula to become debt free again. Now, I'm not saying this is the best book in the world. I'm saying it is one of the simplest ones. Okay. And there is a way to make this work. The whole trick where we come to the reason I call it the creative practicality. Take a look at what you got once you assess how much it costs you to live, just to simply exist. pay your bills, keep a roof over your head, keep your utilities on, food on the table. That's what you're looking for. Bottom line, that's what you're looking for. Okay, but I'm going to show you, how with power over your own life. It does get to be a little creative. Okay, take a look at, first of all, where you're standing. Then you look at where you would like to get to. And you don't go, oh, I'd like to be a millionaire. I'm telling you, being a millionaire has its drawbacks. Okay. Yeah, I'm a friend, I'm a little slow on occasion, in case you hadn't noticed. But LA's going, simplicity helps. I heard it put one day where if you can't explain a process simply, you don't know it well enough. Now, there are qualifiers to that. If you can't count, you're not going to be able to work with money well. It's just that simple. You have to be able to count in order to work with money. Money doesn't have to be able to count to work with you. It's going to do its own thing anyway. It's kind of weird, but it's the same thing. People keep making gun laws, and you can't. You got to turn your guns in. Got to register them, and we're going to take them away. And I'm telling you, the guns have never been the problem. Okay, money has never been the problem. The guns, it's the people behind them. The money, it's the people using it. And it's not a question of cut back. It's a question of think before you spend. If you desire your bank account to climb, spend less than you've got coming in. If you don't have enough coming in to meet the level of entertainment you'd like, find a way to increase your cash flow. Quit looking in the mirror and going, I've got to cut back. Okay, absolutely, it does apply if you're looking to drop weight. Absolutely, a very simple baseline outlook. You put less calories into your system than what you burn. You will lose weight. You'll drop it. It's just simple math. Okay, hopefully this is making sense. And yeah, we've got 7 in, I would love to see the chat room, I'd love to see, like, the subscribers are climbing slowly but surely. And that is very important, because this is one of those neat little things that we absolutely have to look at. Now, I know before the end of tonight, and not before the end of the show, to be clear, I mean my work before the end of tonight is I will turn this into I will have an idea of how much the course is going to cost. The book is easy. It's $20 anywhere in Canada or the continental US. Okay. Around the rest of the world, it depends on what shipping is. Okay. So, I mean, that's just the reality behind it. And there's a whole lot of things that go behind that. But take a look at the money you've got. What are you actually spending it on? One of the things that really made a difference to my level of prosperity is I was cooking off $300 to $400 a month at a restaurant. Now, I have to eat. This is true. But when you think about it, I can buy a single sandwich, i.e., 2 pieces of bread and some stuff inside it. You go to the store, you're paying $10 to $20 to a restaurant, anywhere from $10 to $20. Okay, I can buy a loaf of bread, as in, I don't know, I think it's something like 12 sandwiches, for $3. I don't know, kind of a thought of, maybe I was spending too much in favor of not doing anything. So take a look at what you're spending. Take a look at why you're spending it. Certain things are going to cost you more money than others. I'm not telling you don't do the expensive things. Okay? I'm telling you, make sure that you're balancing things out. If you have to be running a business, Okay, because this entire world is not run by money. It really isn't. Okay, but you do require money to pay your bills. Now, money can be either cash or money in kind. Okay, I gotta run some numbers tonight to figure out what the actual growth curve is likely to look like. Okay, and that's just a simple matter of mathematics. I could technically do it while I'm online. Okay, while I'm on the stream here. What did I do here? Okay. Well, that kind of has to be handled. Remember I said sometimes I get something that I just have to deal with? Well, this is one of those fine little times. Well, where are we? Bear with me. I know this is a pain in the neck. But this is why we call it live. Needless to say, this is the one thing that really does take a lot more of my attention than otherwise. But this is because it was somebody suggested, I don't know who it was, somebody suggested that with positive perspectives to start adding pictures. Well, I can't get the pictures off my cell phone onto my computer. Okay, that's because of technological problems on my end. So I had to get creative, and I found somebody to take pictures and ship them back to my computer. And that way I can move them. Okay. This will only be a moment longer. Bear with it, if you will. Where are we here? And hopefully this will be the last break of this kind that I deal with now. There we go. That's all that problem. Now, when I'm talking about creative, anytime you're looking at changing your financial world, it requires thought. And like I've told you before, once your mind can conceive it and your heart can believe it, you can achieve it. Yeah, LA's going, one of the fiendish financial things I have realized is little fees here and there that banks, finance companies, and others have arbitrarily put on invoicing and other stuff. Oh, Lord, yeah, absolutely. And again, where it comes to dealing with banks, you hit the nail on the head. Find out what those fees are. I literally went to my own bank, probably 10 years ago now. Okay. And I asked the guy, I says, do you guys actually have a true savings account? Okay. Because I'd looked at the different savings accounts they had. And the bank manager looks at me and he goes, absolutely, we do. It doesn't pay much, but it does pay. And he says, it only pays 0.25%. I says, great. Now understand, right? And I don't begrudge the banks making money. Don't get me wrong. Okay. Yeah, I don't blame you there, LA. LA goes, I fired the bank and went to a credit union. And the thing is, with the bank I've got, in 40 years, they have made, between us, we've made 3 mistakes. And they were right on top of getting them straightened out. when they didn't tell me that my boss bounced a check. But I went to the manager, and he says, "Yeah, we've got a savings account. Ferret, how you doing? Glad you could join us." He says, "It only pays 0.25% per year." I says, "Great. So that's a savings account." He says, "Yeah." I says, "Really?" I said, let me get this. I give you I put $100 in your bank at 0.25%. He says, "Yeah." I said, "So at the end of that year, you're going to give me my $100 back plus 25 cents. He goes, "Yeah, well," he says, "I told you it wasn't much." I says, "Yeah, but what you didn't tell me is that same savings account is costing me $10 a month to turn around, $10 a month to have my money in your bank for that year. So in that $10 a month, I put 100 in, and regardless of what's in there, you're going to take 10 out. At the end of 12 months, I'm now down $125. I'm down $120 and up 0.25. I'm up 25 cents. Net result, I am down $119.75 in a pure savings account. I says, "Can you care to explain to me how this becomes savings?" Within 3 years, they have a savings account that costs me and that costs everybody absolutely nothing. Okay. They changed the bank because, and I can only attribute it to the fact I went, here's the reality of it. I'm not happy. I can only assume, because I got no proof of it, that discussion got back to the top brass. Now I'm presuming that your mattress is only filled with paper. Okay, because I'm telling you, I've laid on a bag of coins before. It's not comfortable. I mean, the bag may well be. What do we got here? Fair goes, "Hi all. If you can pay off your credit card debt every month so you don't pay credit. I realize some people aren't in a position to do that, but the interest is so high." Absolutely on the money there, Ferret. The other thing I found out in that department is the credit cards will tell you that you can spend up to 30% of your credit to be safe. I'm telling you, whatever your credit limit is, and believe me, I'm way overboard on this one. Okay, whatever your credit card limit is on each card, do not spend more than 10% of it until, once you hit 10%, pay it off completely. Okay, preferably, as Ferret pointed out, preferably all at once. Yeah, no doubt, LA. And coins are just not comfortable. And rest assured, a beanbag chair full of diamonds may be worth a lot, but painful as heck. And no, I've never sat on one. Of course, in all fairness, I've never had that many diamonds. But when you look at it, logical thinking, money works in a logical fashion. It's that simple. But you can get creative in how to deal with it. Now, I will have the numbers worked out, because here's what I am looking for these books. Actually, for all my books, is, people say, find a distributor. I did. I found a perfect distributor. Okay. Fair goes, I'm fortunate and privileged to use my credit cards to get the client rewards and pay all off. Yeah, you absolutely do. And that is one of these things that when I put this course together, that's one of the things we're going to be covering. How to track what you're doing with your money. Budgets only work if you've got a definitive number coming in. Like, for instance, without telling you who, I've got a $500 contract, and I know every month that contract pays me $500. So I know that I can take that $500 and go, X number of dollars goes to this place, X goes to that place, X goes to there. And I've got it all worked out and the rest sits in the bank. Now, here's the kicker to it. If you got a regular paycheck, you're being paid, if you're getting paid a salary, you don't have a problem. You've got a regular paycheck. You can do the same thing. The budget will work. If you've got an hourly income, then your wage will not, your monthly income will not be the same. And you've got to resort to tracking where your finances go. But again, think how you're doing it. Now, here's a bizarre question just to see if anybody's if anybody's working ahead of themselves. Okay. Now, I'm telling you, this book, all of these books that are this size are just $20. Let me ask you this. I'm looking for a distributor, and I'm not asking you to name off a bunch of distributors. I already know which ones I'm going to. Okay. But they tell you, I'm told, find a distributor that can do it. I found one. Okay. But how would it be possible? And let's see if anybody comes up with an idea. I've already got a method in my head. This is just to get you thinking in a creative fashion. How can I take these books and utilizing people voluntarily from the stream? Okay. How can I turn around and actually turn the people in the subscription list, you guys, giving you first dibs on how to move those books? How can you turn around and utilize that option of my utilizing your contacts, or more to the point, you utilizing your contacts? Okay, I've got two ways of doing it. Okay, whereby I can actually increase the distribution further, and you're going to love this one, further than Amazon can. Okay, while you're making money. Anybody got any ideas? Because I've got two I'm implementing immediately. Okay, those that are interested, absolutely drop me a line at the email address. Where is it? I wonder if I left it there. Yep. Those that are interested, drop me an email and drop me a request for information, because I've already got the method laid out where I can increase the distribution, not only of my business, but of any that I get my hands on. I figured out a way to do it. Okay. Didn't bother with the idea of, let's go to the big names. Okay. Let's go to the big names and let's figure that one out and get them and give them all the money. Or we can do it ourselves. Okay. Now, I'm already of the opinion that just because you got money does not mean you're better than anybody else. Just because you've done something big, I will tell you, the people that are in the military, in first responders, that have stepped up to the plate to protect their families, protect their community, protect their country, absolutely, hats off. You guys definitely deserve accolades. I don't care what your bank book looks like. It doesn't matter to me. And it shouldn't matter to you what anybody else's bank book looks like. What has to become the dominant concern is, do you have enough money coming through your door that you can keep a roof over your head and live? Okay. Now, to this end, I figured it out myself. Okay. I figured out how I can turn around and literally, on a whopping, and this is almost unheard of in Canada right now, on a staggering $2,500 a month, I can live essentially high on the hog. I'm done living high on the hog. I'm going after the stars. Okay. I'm aiming for a way of doing it. But I figured out an algorithm whereby 80% of my net income, okay, is going back out to the community, to customers, to contributors, to suppliers, doesn't matter. Okay, I figured out how to turn it around, including charity work. Am I going to open a registered charity? Not a snowball's prayer. Not going to happen because the administration cost of running a registered charity eats the donations. I'm not doing it. Okay, as I get things put in place, I will lay it out for people. But you have to get creative. This idea of doing everything based on, oh, I can't afford it. I'll tell you, you keep telling yourself you can't afford it. Okay. You keep telling people you can't afford it. You keep telling yourself you can't afford it. You're going to remain in that bucket. Okay. It is literally a self-fulfilling prophecy. In my case, I finally pieced it together. Now, understand something very important. 60 years I've been on this backwoods mudball. Okay, I've been hiding for 55 of it. Now it's time to step out of the shadows, okay, and start coming right out and going, here's how we do it. Now, I will tell you the ways that I figured out how to distribute my books. Get this information out there, because when I die, it goes with me if I don't get it printed. Okay, it's that simple. Because I'm not sure, but I don't think we have an electroencephalographic educator on the planet right now. Or if we do, I don't know offhand where it is. But these are all things that are starting. Like, I announced them here, and you notice they're coming out pretty freaking quickly. Okay, like Steve here tonight. If you check back through the chat rooms, this is the only through the chat line there. This is the only reason I'm using the name at all. If you take a look back through the chat, Steve told me that the January newsletter didn't get to him. Now, bear in mind, he only just applied for the newsletter all. So the earlier ones, I got them all the way back to July. But he told me he didn't get it. And literally right there, I turned around and went, click, click, bang, boom. There you go. It's now in his possession. Okay. One of the changes that took place in the Positive Perspectives newsletter is I figured out, because I've had to stop with the physical printing of it, I don't have a limit on the size anymore. Right now, I'm still sending it out the same way. I may eventually, as a matter of fact, I probably will eventually find a way to watermark it, because, watermark the novels I'm writing, they will go through the same distribution process, just a lot more expensive, that's all. Okay, but there is a neat way of doing things. And it boils down to who's going to creatively change their own world. You know what your finances, well, you may not. How many people here really know how much money it costs you to run your household or to run your business? That's the first step in figuring out how to change your finances. You got to know where you're standing. Quit looking to the past and trying to answer, well, how did I get in this mess? It doesn't matter how you got in the mess. You're in it. Okay. Lord knows I've been there, bankrupt twice. Okay. Yeah. And he's going, I do. And the reality is, once you know where you're standing, you can find out how to change it. That is where, and this is going to sound real egocentric on my part. Okay. But that is where I can turn around and go, here's how to do it. How do I know I can do it? Because in spite of no income for a year, okay, no stable income for a year, I just turned around, and I'm wondering, do I have it right here? I do have it right here. Ain't that neat? We go divide by 15, 18. Nope, that's wrong. 2,000 divided by, we had 15, 18, 18. Oh, divided by 20,000. Okay. I just, with no stable income, using the techniques I'm talking about, okay, the ones I'm telling you I can turn over to you, okay, and it's not I'm going to charge you $800 to do it. $20. Doing that, I just literally this month, as a matter of fact, about 3 days ago, increased my credit available to me by 10%. Now, that's like a 10% raise, like that. Now, I will tell you, to set it up took me a year, but my credit limit, aka my available purchasing power, in a year, utilizing the tools I'm talking about, increased my available credit by a full 10%. Okay, now name an investment that actually pays off that well. Okay, this is where things get a little screwy. And yes, I know that means I know that sounds like I'm saying I'm better at investing than the banks are. No, I'm not. I figured out how to increase mine. What you got to realize is the banks figured out how to get 20 to 25. I'm not that way inclined. I'm not about to watch the stock markets and what have you, but I will tell you something I did find out. If you're looking at playing in the stock markets, and whatever you do, don't look at me and go, oh, you know what, how the stock markets work. You should invest in something. No, I shouldn't. Okay, I've tried that. It doesn't work for me. So I'm just going the tried and true method that does work for me. But when you're looking into stocks, absolutely, the people that teach you about the stocks, they teach you the right thing. Take a look at the industry. Take a look at the company you're looking investing in. Absolutely, read up on all the financial information you can get. Figure out what they're up to. What do they stand for? Do you agree with what they stand for? And if you do, how much is it going to cost you to get a share? Okay, now comes the tricky part of figuring out which ones are going to jump. When should you buy? When should you sell? Okay, I mentioned I was going to get into this, and this is just the tip of what I'm sitting on. Okay, do all your research. But now what the most of the schools will tell you, and I know because I checked into a number of them. I shouldn't say most of the schools, but I will say many. What they'll tell you is read the paperwork coming out, read the portfolios and what the company is telling you they're planning on doing. And the trainers will tell you, figure out what the company is likely to do with it. Okay. And that's how you decide how you're gonna invest. I'm telling you that's misleading. Okay. Absolutely get the paperwork and look at it. But it doesn't matter what you think the company's going to do. What matters is what the other investors think the company is going to do. Okay, because if the other investors figure the company is going to all of a sudden make a jump and their money and their stocks are going to climb, that's when you sell. Okay, because that's when they're buying. Problem is, if you figure the company is going to climb, you start buying stocks. Okay, and everybody else says the company's going to collapse. Okay, so they're selling, so you're buying and buying and buying, and then the business tanks, the stock tanks. You have to watch the people around you. Okay, you've got to ask yourself. Well, I guess you don't have to. A lot of people don't, but this is why so many people lose money on the stock market. Now, I don't have the patience and or the memory to bother putting the effort into trying to gauge all of it. So I just look at it. I've got a couple of investments I work with, and that's where I sit. Okay, and that's just where I sit. So I have decided on one major company I will be investing in, but understand the company I'm referring to has nothing to do with what it's up to. It has to do with I'm going to invest directly in my bank. Okay. And I'm going to be looking into what it's going to cost. And I know it will to get even a partial share in the bank that I've been with for 40 years. They've been working on my money. It's only fair I should start making money back from it. Okay, again, get creative in your thinking. And absolutely, this particular venue, this particular concept, we are going to work on more. Okay, over the next several months, we are going to literally go through this idea of how do you reclaim power over your life? Because you gain power over your life. If one person does it, not a whole lot changes. If we get a whole pile of you people changing the way your life is working, society itself will shift. Okay, it's that simple. You ever notice an avalanche? Push one rock down the hill. Who cares? It's one little pebble rolls down the hill. But that one little pebble impacting on all of the other little pebbles will eventually start a massive avalanche. That avalanche will change the entire physical landscape. Now, I'm looking at you going, okay, we have a couple of venues here. We've got positive perceptions here, the live stream. We start spreading the word and letting people know this is what we're up to. Okay, all of a sudden we go from 594 subscribers, and bear in mind, there's 594 that are subscribing. Right now, we have 8 in the chat room. Okay, if we go 8 divided by 594, that means we have only 1% of the subscribers in the chat room. Now, guess how many I would like to see in the chat room on a regular basis? Okay, comparatively. Guess what kind of percentage I'm envisioning to bring into the chat room on a consistent level. Destiny Rocks, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Take one wild stab in the dark. How many people, like what kind of percentage I feel would be really beneficial? Okay, I mean 100% would be great, but that is just plain not realistic. Not going to happen. Okay, but we take a look at where your finances are. We get them sorted around so you can find new and exciting ways. And I will tell you, for those of you that are looking to generate a little bit of income, this will not make you millions yet. Okay, I will tell you the algorithm I came up with has been worked out where I can literally be making $1 billion a month. My company can draw $1 billion a month and still be putting out 80% of the net profit back to the community, which, by the way, works out to 800 million. Okay, going back to the community. Because I'm telling you, I don't require $1 billion a month to live on. I'm doing it on 2,500. Why would I need $1 billion? Okay, I was talking to a friend of mine that's been helping me deal with the government, and we're both on the same page. I'm not looking to get their help anymore. I'm just simply looking to survive. So we're going forward on that line. But, I will tell you, there's a whole lot, and this is why I say, because I'm not looking to turn to Amazon. I will be utilizing, the big wigs, but they are not my big focus. You guys have become my big focus for making positive perceptions a global community with a cash flow out to all of you for those of you that decide to participate. Now, the fact you're here, okay, simply gives you first dibs. It's that easy. Okay, but I am in the process of getting it written out in a way that I can go, here's how it works. And the nice part about it, and I can tell you this, the nice part about it is it's not going to cost you anything to do it. Okay, which is really, and I know that's a weird claim. Okay, there is a way it can cost you. Okay, but will it have to? That's up to you. But again, if you're interested, absolutely drop me a line. But the hard part where it comes to creative financing is to realize it takes a creative side, but you still have to use logic when dealing with money, because money, finances don't care what you feel like. They don't care what you look like. And they sure don't care what gender you are. Okay. You notice if a woman, if a woman takes $100 to the bank and puts it into a given account, the interest will come back at X percentage. If a man takes $100 and puts it into the same bank, okay, the bank will give, same bank, same account, the bank will give the man the exact same amount of money it gave the woman. Now we talk about, people talk about equal pay for equal work. There is the one industry on the planet, it seems, that they look at men and women and go, you're 100% equal. Don't care who you are, don't care how old you are, as long as you fit the minimum age bracket. Once you hit that age bracket where you're allowed to do it, I think it's somewhere between 16 and 18 you have to be up here in Canada. But according to the bank, once you hit their limit and say, okay, we can work with you directly, right then, it does not matter what gender you are, what your profession is, how many people you know. They don't care who you vote for. They look at the $100 you put in the bank, and they give you the exact same amount of money back. Okay, each one of you. It's that simple. Okay, and that is where we talk about equality. Okay, you want equality, finances will treat you 100% equally. They don't care if you're dying of cancer. They don't care if you're diabetic. Your finances won't care one way or the other whether you are rescuing dogs, cats, and polar bears. They don't care. The finances will simply continue doing what they do. Okay, they treat everybody exactly the same way. And quite frankly, you can be in the best mood in the world. You can be grumpier and all get out. And the bank, the finances will still respond the same way. You can't hurt a dollar bill's feelings. Okay, it really boils down to looking in the world and looking at the financial world and going, I desire to be more fluid, which is great. I mean, my finances are brilliantly fluid. They come in, they flow right back out. No problem at all. Okay, I swear sometimes I'm carrying an accelerator cannon on my shoulder, because the finances come in and they're gone. But I finally figured out how to get them to come back like a boomerang. Okay, come back, but when it comes back, it'll come back with company. And that's what I'm starting to push for. Like I said at the end of 2023, I'm coming out of the gates here. I'm coming out with my feet on the floor to dead run. And I intend to take as many of you right over the top of fluid finances as we go. But it's simply an open offer. Okay, and that's why I say, if you're interested, drop me a line. It will not be a lot of money. Okay, I will tell you, when I worked out the algorithm to start with, the first month it's pocket change. By a year down the road, once you get your feet on straight, once you get your head on straight, you will find, and I know this will happen because I've run the numbers so often, it's insane. I took the algorithm to a computer programmer to find the error. I took after that, because I didn't like what he came up with. He goes, there isn't one. So I took it to a mathematician. These people are weird. They think really weird. You think I'm all a little off loopy. you should try what some of these guys look at. But took him 12 hours to go, the algorithm is perfect. It's perfect. I didn't agree with him. I finally found the hiccup. Where it comes to finances, you've got to think not in terms of what you don't have, but in terms of what the potentiality of what you do have can do. Okay, now it really boils down to realizing one massive factor. Okay, and yes, I've done this before, but I had to go over this direction. This major factor, I am worth it. Get that through your head. Finances can turn around. And like I said, the nice part about it, and you're going to love this one, the nice part about it is for anybody to make their money grow, takes creative thinking and effort. It's not going to happen if you don't make the effort. You desire to be able to, you desire to be able to buy, let's say you want to buy a TV. Okay, let's say that's what you'd like to buy. And you go in, and again, this is what do we got going on here? Let's just assume you desire to get a TV, and let's do basic math. Yeah, we're talking finances today, but the thing is, we get your finances running. What happens if, what happens if 1,000 of you in a store close to you, 1,000 of you get your finances up and running, and you're going to a store close to you, and you all like the same store, but now you've got free-flowing cash. So you can go to the store and buy the things you like. What's going to happen to that store's profit line if all of a sudden their customers are able to buy more? Okay, it's a very simple little way of looking at it. I was going to figure something out and forgot what the heck it was. But when you take a look at it, why do we do that? I love the way this always jumps back to top chat instead of sticking on live. By the way, and just a quick little note. If you guys like the stream, do me a favor, give us a thumbs up, and do subscribe to the channel, and then share the daylights out of the thing. That'd be really appreciated. Okay, and this is going to sound like an absolute load, but I'm telling you, energetically, I can prove it, sort of. Okay, the smoother things are running in the chat room in your guys' lives, the smoother things run in my life. This is why my energy level is up right now, because a bunch of you guys, when we had the problem a couple of days ago or last week sometime, a massive number of you guys reached out and said, hey, we're still here and we don't desire you to drop dead. And some of the people stepped right up and walked into the mess and went, no, you're not dealing with this anymore. It's because of that I now have the energy to get up and mobilize. Okay, and this is why I'm putting the offer on the table. Murray, how we doing? Glad you could join us. Gee, now don't take this as an insult, but with a last name like that, that sounds like you're Scottish. And that's certainly not meant as an insult by any means. But welcome aboard. Just got off work. Yeah, I just got off work a year ago. They closed my company. There we go. Thank you for the confirmation there, Murray. Really appreciate it. Myself, you're looking at it. I was literally a professional psychic. I was working for a psychic line, had been for 23 years. And yes, I did see the fact it was going to close. What I didn't see was doing anything about it. I never prepared for it because I kept, procrastination. It's a great way to accomplish nothing. But I did decide that much as I was seriously looking at walking away from doing psychic readings, from doing the psychic consulting, I have decided that door I am keeping open. As a matter of fact, we are working on a way to make it a little easier to function with. The nice part about it is with the support that I've received from you guys, I'm looking at absolutely creative ways of improving cash flow for everybody I know, not just for a few people that have. Yes, that I'm going back to, and in all fairness, and just because of the fact, well, let's face it, I did say I was going to push limits. I am now doing. I do have I've got a business license to do psychic consultations. Okay. And I only charge $20 Canadian per 15 minutes. Okay. Again, if you're interested, I've got 40 years in the field. Okay. If you're interested, again, this is the easiest way to drop a line to me. Okay. That's the easiest way to get a hold of me to set something up. I much prefer working with a visual. And the only visuals I've got right now, Skype I've got and FaceTime I've got. Right now I got to talk to somebody because my messenger, my Facebook Messenger, for whatever reason, I'm not getting sound coming in. And I know there's a couple of you listening in that know exactly how to go in and sort that out. But those are the only three methods I use. That and face-to-face. I don't change the price. I don't change the price for the tools. My time is what I charge $20 every 15 minutes for. Okay. When I'm looking at the price of the books I'm writing, I don't take into consideration how long it took me to write them. I take a look at what it cost me to print them. That's what I'm looking at. And that way, it doesn't matter how much money you've got. It's the same price. Being a multi-billionaire will not make me bring the price down. Oh, I own such and so forth and so on. Can't you cut me a deal? Well, can I cut you a deal? Absolutely. And you'll get a kick out of this one. You'll get a kick out of this one, Murray, if you fall in the same category I grew up in. Okay. I'm stubborn. I'm not changing my prices and lowering them just because somebody's got more money. You can't buy me that way. I mean, I'll take more money from somebody. Absolutely. I have never turned down money. At least not if there's been if there are no strings attached. Ultimately, that's what I aim for there, Murray. There is no point in my telling you I'm 100% accurate. I'll tell you right now, 80 to 85% of what I tell people during a consultation, whether it is business, personal, relationship, I don't care. 80 to 85% of it is quantifiable. It has an explanation. It's the other 15 to 20 I run into a problem with. Okay. And have I run into the gamut? Absolutely. Everything from missing people to simple relationships. I won't lie to you to make you feel better. When, like I told you, with finances, I have no doubt in my heart. I don't care what shape you're in financially, from the standpoint of, I know working with your money, not working with mine, working with your money, we can get your finances turned around so you can actually get back on track and you can have the life you desire to have if you put the effort into it. If you don't put the effort into it, you're not getting ahead. Because I'm not about to give, I was about to say I'm not about to give handouts. This stream and any questions people ask in this stream, I will do my best to answer. Okay, almost any question. There are questions that, and I set somebody off a few months back. He really wanted an answer about somebody else, and I hadn't been given permission by that individual to say anything, so I refused. Well, he got mad. I haven't seen him back in the chat room since. And in all fairness, here's how badly it bothered me. I forget who it was. There are some of you that stand out. And this is why, if you run into a problem, absolutely give me a call. Absolutely drop me a line. I will do my best to get back to you. Okay. Now, I do fall behind because, well, let me think. I've got the live stream here. And these, like I said, I was going to tie them all together. So I've got the live stream here. I've got so this is positive perceptions. Then I've got positive perspectives, which is the newsletter, which will in time become a magazine. I don't know where the difference is. I think it's the number of pages. Okay. Right now I'm looking at eight pages right now, but I don't have a limit on it anymore. Okay. And then I've got Inner Voice Enterprises, which is the company by which I do all the consulting and all my shipping and advertising, the whole 9 yards. This said, it takes creative thinking. How do you take what you've got, and if you've got a business that you're struggling with, talk to me. I have no doubt. I can't prove it until you talk to me. But I have seen things that are different from the way that you may have been taught to change the way your world is going. Okay. And when we do that, we can increase your count. I took one woman, she came to me with a problem with her business. You take care, Farron. Thanks so much for dropping in. Really appreciate it. If you've got a business that you're having trouble getting off the ground, absolutely drop me a line, or ask me right here in the chat room. If you're asking me right here, okay, I will absolutely do my best to answer it within reason. Nathan, I have no doubt you're swamped at work. I keep telling you should move up onto the shore instead of into the swamp. Get onto drier ground. But there is no doubt in my heart at all. Now, I am not great where it comes to marketing, in case you hadn't noticed. Okay, I'm figuring it out. The companies have said that they would help me, including the government. I mean, that was fun. I'm from the government. I'm here to help. That was not my experience. Okay. However, in a twisted sort of way, they did, because they turned around, and because they didn't do what they said they were going to, I was forced, and it should have been done initially anyway, to find a creative way to get around it. I now have done that. Okay. And like I said, I will be putting an offer together that anybody that's interested, I will just simply ship the offer to them. Okay. It's a real easy one from my end. It's just a question of wording it properly. But understand something. I used to be called some people would still call me a gentleman contractor. I tell you I'm going to do something. That is what I'm going to do my level best to do. I have written more bad checks with my mouth in my younger years than I care to count. In other words, going, oh, I can afford to do this, and then dug myself into a hole. I'm not going to do that again. I'm just not about to do that again. So I will think things through. And yes, there are people out there that will quite readily tell you this is what I desired and what I'm offering you. And they will double back on it. Karmic law. Be true to yourself first. This is why I'm putting the boundaries in place and going, here's the rules. This is the way it is. Okay. Be true to yourself first. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. So what I'm doing is going, I know I'm going to financially land on top of the world, but I'll be danged if I'm going to the top on my own. Rumor has it it's lonely at the top. Solution, take everybody with you. Problem solved, no more lonely. Well, that's not entirely true. I can be lonely in the middle of a crowd. Okay, which if you're down in Reno this year, you may find out. You know, I'm just working on a couple of little options. But my intention is to be down there. What I may end up being is down there for a few days on either side. Okay, I think if I remember correctly, the SOR party, and don't quote me on this, but somebody in here I know can confirm it or deny it, but I believe that the SOR party down in Reno is from the 10th to the 12th. Okay, now if that's the case, okay, then I am likely going to be down there. Probably, as it stands right now, I'm looking at actually being down there from the 8th to the 14th. Okay, that is likely where I'm looking at. 2 days either side of it. I've got my own reasons for it. Okay, but I figured out how to make the money work. And with what the government, with what my efforts in my own finances, my own creative way of looking at things happened, I've now got the wherewithal to make it happen. So, when I talk about I've got tools that when you look at the creative side of the world, you can take that money of yours and you can make it double up on itself. It doesn't take a lot, but it does take effort and does take belief that you can do it. Now, whether you believe you can pull it off or not is a fundamental fact. Whether if you believe you can do it, the odds are you'll be able to. If you believe you cannot, then the odds are you're going to shoot yourself in the foot right off the bat. Now, let me ask you this. Of the people that are still in here listening, now we're sitting at a staggering, we were up. It's funny, when I look at the off-worlders, when we start taking our attention off planet to the, to the ancient, to the off-worlders, to aliens, to alien technology, to ancient races, to ancient cultures, we end up with a whole pile. We end up with a whole pile of people in the room. What this tells me is that people are very distracted or trying to stay very distracted from the material, from this world we're in. Now, I got told years ago that we all came here to experience the physical world. And of course, when I was told it, I says, well, I do. And the woman that pointed out, she goes, Keith, that means you've got to stay in your body. I said, I do. She goes, 10% of the time doesn't count. It's kind of like an alcoholic quitting drinking. If you're quitting drinking every night, you're not quitting drinking. Okay. My spending 90% of my time out of my body elsewhere meant not only did I avoid the world, but I avoided life. Now I'm coming in here going, okay, time to drop anchor. The easiest anchor to quantify is finances. But what can I do with finances? What am I able to do? What I'm able to do is I can show you guys how you can, and yes, I'm absolutely telling you that by working with me, I can make this happen a little easier. But I'm not the only method. All I'm telling you, like where it comes to investing in a corporation, i.e. stocks, I'm going to be buying into one corporation where it comes to stocks. Technically, you might call it two. I will deal with GICs, aka guaranteed income certificates, okay, or offered by the government. In the States, I think they call them bonds. Same idea, they're offered by the government. And yeah, technically that means you're investing in the government. Well, let's face it, it's here. In my case, I will be buying stocks whatever I can get from my bank. Not because I figure they're going to be multi-billionaires down the road, but they've treated me well for 40 years. That's a lot of research without doing any. To me, this is how you determine if you're going to invest in a company. Okay. Now, the silly part where it comes to inner voice enterprises. Okay. I've had it. I've had inner voice enterprises since August 11th of 2007 at approximately 5 minutes to noon. Now, I didn't do anything with it until literally right now I'm starting to push limits. And I'm going to take this into beyond the global community. Right now it's tiny. Yes, we're global. But let's face it, 594 subscriptions is not wide. Okay, now I'm starting to push the limits and go, here's how to make it happen. And I'm inviting you along because I'll tell you, your finances, I'm betting there are very few of you. I know there's one of you in here, and, pardon my forgetting, but welcome my memory. There's one of you that is sitting in good shape. The rest of you, I don't know. Many of you are still relying on somebody else, as in you're working for somebody else. I'm betting the massive majority of even the subscribers, the massive majority are not financially independent. Okay, I'm absolutely certain of this. But starting effective tonight, not next week, not next month. Okay, tonight, I'm putting a package together to be able to tell people, here's the offer of what we're looking at. I'm not guaranteeing anybody's going to be a millionaire. The funny thing is, Nathan, the system we're in is designed to work right. The problem is not the system. The problem is the people that are running it right now. If the system were run the way it was originally designed, we wouldn't have as big a problem. Okay, people used to be rewarded for creative thinking. And this is why there are a couple of people in the chat room that I've talked to that have said, look, we're going to do this for you. We can do that for you. I flat out told them, in the chat room, I know people will step up and do things to help to keep me alive. And I cannot tell you how grateful I am for that one. There was a time when I'm going like, why are you keeping me alive? I mean, for pity's sake, let me go. I made before I was 10, I made 4 runs of getting back home. Okay, as in clinically dead by the time I was 10. 5 since and a possible 6th. And these little foul balls where I have a heart attack and, run into problems, those are inconvenient. Kind of like the way you guys see the flu or the cold. I don't bother with the others. Can't quite say that anymore. This past summer, I had my first cold in 25 years. Not a bad run, really. So what we are looking at is we've got a system here. Since the system has some kinks, what do you do if the system has a kink? How do you get it to work for you? You work with the problems. In all fairness there, Steve, I honestly didn't check it today. But then I've been feeling great. See, if I read it right now, I know it'll be up. I've been sitting upright for, I don't know, an hour and a half here. But I know I haven't had any problems. I did, however, when was it? Because I do track my sleep to make sure I stay on top of things. Got to bed, got up this morning. Well, I was in bed before midnight. I was up at 4:30. And then, where is my pen? And then I went and grabbed a nap from 12:30 to 1:30. Now, something you got to realize, okay, for me, this is normal, but thank you so much for the concern there, Steve. I know my blood pressure is down a lot further. It's probably up a little right now. But, the reality is when you're running energy through your system, it does happen. On the plus side, I'm feeling great. Okay, this is why I know when I get done with this, I will be working on, I've got 3 books I have to get working on writing. Oh, that's the nice part. I finally got into the 21st century in a sense. On this little deal here, I've actually got alarms set off to make sure I take my meds. Right, and in about 20 minutes here, I've got to take my night meds. Okay, I got alarm set off to make absolutely certain that I go and take them. Okay, and yes, in all fairness, here's the way this works. Assuming I end up running overtime, which is possible. Okay, if I've still got something I want to be saying, I will take a minute out and take them. Because I'm telling you, if you guys are willing to put up with me, which clearly somebody is, because you keep saying, hey, don't shut the stream down, it's helping. Well, it's time to take that helping from just a metaphorical to let's put your finances back on track and give you the life you deserve. Okay, or the life you desire. Because deserve boils down to, and there are people, I'll look at them and go, yeah, I know what you deserve, and legally I can't give that to you. But I will tell you this. If you put the work into your own life, I do have the answer. I do have an answer on how you can make it happen. And that answer is literally couched in what I'm doing myself. Let me ask you this. Do I look like I'm having as bad a day as I was the other day? You know, this is what the power of positive thinking backed up by positive action will do for you. Okay. Now, people see me drink coffee all the time, primarily because I do. Neat part about it is that because of the weakness of the coffee that I drink, my nutritionist flat out told me, you're not getting enough caffeine to worry about. You're getting water, right? Which is what I'm supposed to be drinking. I just like the flavor of coffee more than I like the flavor of chlorine. And yes, I have decided that I haven't got them yet, but I will be getting coffee cups about that are this size, approximately. I will be getting coffee cups that are around this size that I will be selling from a merchandise standpoint with regards to my company. Okay. Actually, in all fairness, they'll be tied straight into the Yldrbac Chronicles. Okay. Because from my standpoint, I'm combining everything. Not only my prosperity, not just my finances, but yours as well, and the energy flow in your home. Now, let's face it, the odds of I ever actually meeting you at your home, slim to non-existent. And that's putting it really mildly. Like, that's probably a massive overstatement. Some of you I may end up meeting in Reno. Okay. If everything goes the way I'm aiming for, and I got to get a hold of Dave to get the number from him. Okay. But with that, I've got to turn around and I'm going to be booking it ahead of time because now I know I can pull the finances together for it. I know, and because of that, I know I'm going to go down there. Okay. This is just a thing. It's a question of last year I would have gone, but the government locked down the borders. If the government doesn't lock down the borders, I'll be there. Okay. Or, well, other qualifier, if I'm not dead and the borders aren't locked down, I'll be there. Okay. The neat part about it from my end is I see a world, and now I can quantify the thing where we all have the finances to live properly, to live what we consider properly, if we put the effort into it. The thing I'm sitting on is a formula to make that happen. It's going to require effort on your part to make it happen. That's just the reality of it. Now, let me see here. Something didn't kick back in, right? So I'm just refreshing the stream here. There we are. Because I looked at my stream and last time I refreshed it, it came up with this real neat thing. Oh, we've got 0 likes. And I'm going, that doesn't sound right. But, I intend on building this stream, in building the coverage that Positive Perspectives has, and in building the cash flow. But it's all going to come back, not all of it. 80% of the net profit is coming back to the people. And here's the neat little kicker about it. I've worked it out. It starts literally the feed on it. Where are we here? Oh, yeah. Greece was a wonderful place. It really was. Had some weird fashions, but it was, ancient Greece was an interesting world, but absolutely read up on it. And I will tell you, the one thing there, Murray, the more you read about the past, just remember, okay, there's a lot that is in the books that they won't tell you. There's a lot in the books that's been modified, but absolutely read up on it, okay? If you can learn another language, even if that language is simply a pictographical one. A chap I know, he took a course in Egyptian, on Egyptian culture, on ancient Egypt. When he wrote his report, he wrote his entire report in hieroglyphs. Okay, little extreme, but then I knew a lady who every time she desired to buy a big ticket item, a car, a house, a property, didn't matter. She would sit down and whittle the item. So she'd end up within a year of finishing the carving, she'd end up owning whatever it was she was buying. Again, little extreme. In my case, I'm putting it down on paper, and I'm going to make it happen. And yes, I do intend on keeping you guys in the loop as to how things are going, not so I can say, hey, look at me, I'm doing better. That ain't the way this works. Okay, but if I can take my trials and tribulations and show you that through these methods, I can land on my feet, then maybe, just maybe, you'll avoid some of the pitfalls I didn't avoid. Okay, I will tell you, if you're on the verge of bankruptcy, and this is directed at you, if you feel you're on the verge of bankruptcy and you think you're down to the tail end, I'm telling you, bankruptcy can be avoided. The bankruptcy trustees will tell you, oh, come and we'll help you get a sweet deal. I'm telling you, the only people that benefit from that are the trustees. Because if you got into debt because of something you voluntarily did, granted, you may have done it with a little forethought, doesn't matter. You voluntarily did it. The company loaned you the money for whatever reason, loaned you credit for whatever reason, with the intention of you getting what you aimed at. You declare bankruptcy. You aren't paying the debt that you lawfully took on, and I mean karmically lawfully took on. The company that reached out, that extended the credit, they're not getting paid, but you can bet your bottom dollar the bankruptcy trustee will get their money before they help you at all. Okay, so if you're in that predicament, understand, I am not a licensed financial advisor. I am a graduate of the School of Hard Knocks. I've gone bankrupt twice. Okay, dug myself completely out of debt once, and I'm on the verge of digging myself completely out of debt a second time. Okay, so I'm about to balance the scales. After that, I'm not going back into heavy debt. I know that there are people that want me, that really are asking me to pitch in and go into an investment with them. I'm not doing it. It's not worth it to me. Okay. So what I am telling you is we can turn this world around, but it's going to take effort. I'm just opening the door. And like I said, if you're interested in either getting the free copy of Positive Perspectives, or you're interested in taking a look at the potentiality of helping in the distribution network regarding the different books I've written and the different courses I'm building, absolutely drop me a line. And I'd love to see your comments in the chat room, in my email box. I will do my best to report to respond to them. Okay. With that in mind, if you are striving to get a hold of me, okay, the email address I'm just popping in here is the best one to reach me at. Okay, and I will do my best to get back to you. But we are hitting the 2-hour mark here. So we are going to wind this down, but I really want to say thank you so much for sharing your time with me. I really do appreciate it. And I will see you next time. Okay. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes, stay positive.